I got somebody who works at Safeway. Okay, he works at Safeway. I got a guy who sells homes. I got a guy who runs Sacramento Juneteenth and used to work at the Digital Bureau here in Sacramento. I got an architect. I got a first year staff at the Capitol. I got a 10th year staffer at the Capitol. I got an attorney. Like, the shit is right. Yeah. So, I mean, so the concept comes from like when I was, so I've had a lot of good times in my life, but when I was at the bottom, which is what started this journey, when I was addicted and things were going right, my relationships were going bad, or my relationship went bad like multiple times, there was always this voice in my head, and it was saying all these terrible things to me, right? It was like, you're a loser, bro. Like, you're terrible. Like, you're worthless. Like, there's no value to your life. And I wasn't aware of the dialogue until it got so bad that I was actually saying it to myself in the mirror. Like, I couldn't look at myself without that voice even becoming out of my mouth, tearing me apart. I used to tear myself apart every single day. That's what depression, anxiety, and addiction all together will do to you. Because your mind is not right, you feel terrible about yourself, and then every time you go back to the same behavior that you've been trying to change, you feel even worse, right? And the only thing you can know how to do is punish yourself. And so I use my voice for that, right? My internal dialogue was like, yo, you're a loser, you're worthless, your life has no value, your life has no meaning, you'll never have a great relationship, you'll never have the money that you want, you'll always be in debt, you'll always be struggling. That's what was going on in my mind. So that manifested in me, of course, feeling terrible, because I was talking myself into feeling terrible. And I think the turning point was when I decided to quit using drugs and decided to quit smoking and start running and do all these things. But it was cultivating the voice that I need to be in my head in order to move forward. Because ultimately, there's always going to be a voice in your head. The question is, what is it saying? And who is that voice? Because a lot of times, that voice isn't even you. That voice is your ex. That voice is your mom. That voice is that abusive bully from school. It's all these people who have said things and poured things into your mind that have made you feel less valuable and made you feel valueless, And so when you think about the voice in your head, like, that's not your developed voice. That's everything that you've ever taken in coming out in a self-critique, right? If somebody called you ugly one time in your life, and that gets into your mind, you might call yourself ugly all the time, right? If somebody calls you stupid, like if you go with your mom calling you stupid, when you say, I'm stupid, that's not you, that's your mom. As terrible as she was, right? That wasn't my mom was great. But but that's the thing, right? And so we don't even know where these voices come from, we let them control us. And so what I teach people how to do is name their voices and train their voices, identify the source of that voice in your head, and for me, with respect to relationships and everything, that actually was my mom, but it wasn't what she said to me, it was what she said about the failed relationships she had been in her life and about those men. And that dialogue I took on, so when I made a mistake in a relationship, it wasn't just my mind, it was everything my mom ever said about men's mistakes in relationships coming up, and everything I ever heard any hurt woman sing about asshole men relationships coming up, right? Anytime somebody had laid that critique out towards somebody else, that became part of my internal dialogue. And so taking control of your voice is all about saying, like, nobody else lives in my head. I control that shit. And it's always positive, it's always good, it's always encouraging, and it's always moving me towards the ultimate vision that I'm going for in my life.